Hey Chris, how's it going? Counting down the minutes, days. Texas, here we come. Yeah, I started down there. Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah, yeah. That's the rumor there. They were saying Dallas Fort Worth, they're saying even California people look like the taxes are so much better and everything, and the lifestyle so much easier. So I called my brother from Texas. He lives in Texas. They drink it. What was going on there? Because that's not my department. Yeah. I know. She was 12. I know. She was 12. I know. But I was in Portland this week, and it's just beautiful here in Portland. There's no state taxes, sales taxes, and stuff like that. But then you look at the house, similar to like our house, it's like $300,000 more than what our house is worth. She brings out of there. Yeah, more than like that. Yeah, some I give it a shot. Last time we talked to you, still why we day last year. He kind of frowned upon it too. He played with me. Yeah, so you're trendy. Yeah. Oh, the first grade. Up in the with Tony, we're later. Oh, we're
That's on. You see the red light that's on? It's on. Okay.
Hey, Maribel. You guys in close session? Hey, how's it going? Just like I seen you the other day. You see what you did? You see what you did? Uh-oh. I need to get up there. Are you going up there? Good, hanging in there.
Good evening. Okay, before we begin, I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you for joining us this evening. Whatever the purpose of your visit here, we truly appreciate you being here. If it is to get informed about the business of the school district, we truly appreciate your interest and your partnership. Thank you so much. And for those of you who are going to be recognized, congratulations in advance. I want to say thank you to all members of staff that are here, cabinet superintendent, my colleagues, board members, our student, and everybody who's working in the back over there, the technicians. So thank you so much all for being here. The Board of Education reconvenes into open session at 7:18 p.m. and I apologize for the delay. We were conducting some business upstairs and we're going to report out some of it in a minute. Can I have roll call, please?
Kyra Pacheco, student representative and graduate from Valley View High School.
Daryl Peden, present.
Susan Smith, present.
Marcia Locke, present.
CJ Johnson, present.
Jesus Holguin, present.
Martin Rex Kidzior, present.
Robert Purdy, present.
Susanna Lopez, present.
Maribel Maddox, present.
Thank you. Earlier today, the Board of Education opened the meeting to convene into closed session to discuss board deliberation regarding student discipline cases, public employee employment appointment, public employee discipline, dismissal, release, non-reelects, conference with labor negotiator, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, and settlement of claims. And reporting out of closed session, I only have 3 items to report, and that is, let's see if I can put this on here. Okay. On the Board of Education voted on 5-0 with the motion made by Dr. Locke and seconded by Mr. Peden, 5-0 to deny claim number 516984. The Board of Education also voted on a 5-0 on a motion made by Mrs. Smith, seconded by Mr. Johnson, to deny claim number 572029. And last item, the Board of Education voted 5-0 on a motion made by Cleveland Johnson, seconded by Susan Smith, to deny claim number 572031. Oh, this one. Okay, correction. I have to make this correction. On claim number 516984, on a 5-0 vote, again, motion made by Dr. Locke, seconded by Daryl Peden, to accept the settlement of that claim. Claim number 516984. Right. Thank you. Okay, at this time, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance and Inspiration, which will be led by Kyra Pacheco, Student Board Representative from Valley View High School.
Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the inspiration. So today's inspiration goes from Michelle Obama. You may not always have a comfortable life, and you will not always be able to solve all of the world's problems at once. But don't ever underestimate the importance you can have, because history has shown us that courage can be contagious and hope can take on a life of its own. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, before we move on, we're going to have to vote on certain items. I need help with that. What are the items that we're voting on? G4A1. And, is that it? When we go through the consent agenda. Okay. Okay, so we need to take a separate vote on item G4A1, and so that we can introduce some employees. So at this time, I'd like to take a motion and a second to approve item G4A1. Yes.
Just to confirm for you, to make it clear, it's items 1 and 2 under that section that we're voting on.
Okay, thank you. Once again, G4A1, items 1 and 2.
I move that we approve
G4A1.
G4A1, items 1 and 2.
I second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Peden?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Dr. Locke?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Holguin?
Aye. So 5 ayes. So now, Dr. Verde, would you please do the introductions?
Thank you, Mr. Holguin. With that board action this evening, I would like to congratulate and welcome to our district the following individuals who have now been approved in the following positions. First, our newest assistant principal. She will be assigned to Armada Elementary School. If we could give a round of applause to Abir Awad. Congratulations, Ms. Awad, if you want to come forward and say hello to the board.
Good evening, cabinet members, Board of Education members. It is a privilege to be here. From the first moment I stepped into the district office, everyone has been so professional, so welcoming, so nice, and that just exemplifies and reflects the culture that you have cultivated at Moreno Valley Unified School District, and it is a privilege to be here. And I look forward to serving the Moreno Valley School District community, especially the Armada parents and the teachers and the staff, and of course the students, most importantly the students, as I support the students with excellence on purpose. So I'm thrilled and excited to be here, and I look forward to an amazing year. Thank you.
Thank you. But before we move on to next, can you come back please to the microphone? Do you have any family members with you this evening?
Actually, my 2 sons are employed. They're working, so they're at work, so that's good. And my husband is all the way in Arcadia in his job, so he couldn't make it. But I know they're with me in spirit.
Do you have any friends or supporters with you?
Well, of course, Miss Ariola, Maria, she gave me flowers. That's wonderful. And Muriel is there, and Vivian. So it's just a wonderful community. Just couldn't ask for anything more. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Dr. Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. Holguin. The board has also approved the appointment of our new public information officer. I would like to introduce Anahi Velasco.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Kidziora, district administrators. I am honored to have been selected as the public information officer. I'm really excited to be here. I've worked in schools and school districts in Orange County and LA area. However, this is the area that I was raised in, the Inland Empire. So it feels great to be back, and I look forward to working with everyone and sharing and celebrating all the success of the students and staff here at Moreno Valley Unified School District. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any family members, friends, supporters?
No, I didn't bring them
I think
here.
everybody's your supporter here, so thank you.
Thank you.
We also have approved the new early childhood learning specialist for Head Start. I wasn't sure if she was going to be able to make it this evening, but I wanted to recognize Jessica Laybeck as the new specialist for Head Start. And she's here. Thank you for being here.
I just want to say good evening to everybody and thank you for the opportunity to be to promote to the early childhood learning specialist. I'm very excited to continue to work with the Moreno Valley Unified School District. I'm a school community liaison for the early childhood learning program, and I am just looking forward to continue to provide the best service to all of our families.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have family members, friends?
No family members, but my supervisors here.
Oh, great,
Supportive.
great, super. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, welcome. Okay.
Yeah, don't you want to introduce the other ones?
We haven't voted on it yet, but this
Okay.
will be set for second
Okay.
consideration.
Can they vote?
G4A13, Mr. Hogan.
G4A13. Let me get there. G4A13. Okay. So now let's take a vote on item G4A13. That's the managerial personnel report. And let's vote on this one separate so we can introduce more members. So I'll entertain a motion in a second for item G4A3.
I'd like to make the motion that we accept this one.
I second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Peeten.
Aye.
Ms. Smith.
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Mr. Hoaging.
And I have to abstain in this item. So you have 4 ayes and 1 abstention. Dr. Verde?
Thank you, Mr. Holguin. So with that action, I want to congratulate some of our current in-house employees. We're always happy to see some folks take on new challenges and new positions here in the district. So with that action, please join me in congratulating Ms. Vivian Cheng, who's now been named the new principal of Alessandro School.
Good evening, board and cabinet members. I am honored, humbled, and grateful for this opportunity to serve the students, staff, parents, and community of Alessandro School. I am excited and ready for this next chapter. I look forward to bringing the abilities of our students to meet the vision of our district of career ready or pursuing a higher education, even within their abilities. Okay. I do have family with me. I do have my husband and my children, 2 out of 3. And then I do have my Armada family, my old managerial, my good friends, Hammer Handy Sites, and some of my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you. Dr. Verde?
We're also excited to recognize the newly named principal of the Bayside Moreno Valley Online Academy, our Bridges Learning Center, longtime assistant principal with us. Congratulations, Mr. Philip Peoples.
Good evening. Thank you so much, school board members, cabinet, Dr. Kesiora. Thank you so much for having faith and trust in me. I do really want to thank Ms. Brown also for mentoring me over the past couple years and really working with me on how to be a better leader and mentor to our students and staff. So thank you so much. Again, I'm a product of Moreno Valley Unified School District. I graduated in 1990 from Moreno Valley High School, or I should say, the Moreno Valley High School. And I've been working here in this district for 22 years. So I am deeply humbled and thank you for having faith and trust in me. I won't let you down. Thank you.
Mr. Peoples. Mr. Peoples. Mr. Peoples. Thank you so much for accepting the opportunity. Do you have any family members?
You know,
friends?
I am so sad to say that I told my wife to come later because I was looking at the board agenda items and I saw it. So Ms. Brown is videotaping it for me, but I'll have to deal with that later tonight. So,
Do you want us to repeat this later?
yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you.
Our last introduction here, Mr. Holguin, we're excited to welcome the new assistant principal at Sunnymead Middle School, Antoinette Saldana.
Good evening, Cabinet, board members, Dr. Kaziora. I just want to again say thank you so much for this opportunity to serve the community that I consider home. I too am a product of Moreno Valley Unified School District, first graduating class of Canyon Springs High School. Go Cougars. I also I've had 30 years of experience here in Moreno Valley. Not only was I a student, but I was a volunteer. I've been a parent here in the district. I've also been a teacher, professional development specialist. I'm so excited to have the opportunity to be an administrative leader. So again, thank you so much for this opportunity. I understand the commitment and the sacrifice that it takes to be a good leader, and I'm capable and I'm willing and I'm ready for the challenge. So thank you.
Ms. Saldana? Ms. Saldana?
I do have family here with me today. I brought my daughter, Alyssa. Alyssa is visiting us from Boston, and she came. I have my husband and my youngest daughter at UCR. She starts her freshman year this fall, so she's at an orientation. So thank you.
Thank you.
Is the daughter here that's from Boston?
Yes.
Where is she?
Alyssa,
Can she stand
say hi
up?
to everybody.
Doesn't she go to Harvard?
She does. Honey Hollow to Harvard, right over there.
Congratulations to all of you. Thank you for choosing to work with Moreno Valley Unified School District. We're very excited to have you all here. Thank you so much. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right, next item on the agenda, it's dates of future board meetings. And there is a whole list for the entire year of board meetings. I just like to refer to the ones starting August 6. August 6, regular meeting at 7 p.m. September 10, regular meeting at 7 p.m. September 24th, regular meeting 7 p.m. October 8, 7 p.m. October 15, there's a study session at 5 p.m. October 29, it's a regular meeting at 7 p.m. November 5, study session at 5 p.m. and the topic is student discipline. November 12, regular meeting at 7 p.m. November 19, study session at 5 p.m. and the topic is student with disabilities. And December 17, 2019, organizational regular meeting at 7 p.m. And since there were a couple of changes to the previous list that was approved for this year, I need a motion and a second to approve those changes, and the list in front of you is the one to be followed from this point forward. So I'll entertain a motion and a second to approve this new list.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept those changes.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Peden?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Dr. Locke?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Holguin?
Aye, 5 ayes. Thank you. Next item is the superintendent's report. Dr. Katsura.
Thank you, Mr. Holguin, and good evening, everyone. And I'm going to mention a lot of things, but some of them are recognitions, and so you're recognized after this, but I don't want you to leave and think this is how you got recognized, and so I just want to clarify that. Who's the young man sitting right there? That's right there. What's his name right here?
Matthew Lee.
Matthew Lee. I wish everybody could see how polite he is and how nice he's sitting there and listening. He's acting like he can't wait to hear what I'm going to say. And everybody doesn't always act like that. I like it, you know. So, I just want you to know, does he go to Cloverdale?
Yes, he does.
Okay, you must have taught him that there. Because what grade is he in?
He's going into second.
Second grade? I'm talking about you. I appreciate that we mentioned the mission of the school district, which is to make sure that every student graduates from high school and that they are able to go to college or a career, whichever they choose, or both. And so in our district, we have 11 commitments that help us create excellence on purpose and help us shine brighter. And so at our board meetings, we like to recognize people who've demonstrated that. And tonight, I'd like to have, these people are from Human Resources. And I'd like for Andrea Anderson, if you come to the podium up here, and Christina Castro, if you come to the podium. And this is Enhance Your Community Through Action, that both of you did. Are one of you related to Vicki Smith? I didn't know that.
Yes.
She was texting me and said you were getting recognized. Is she here?
She's not here. She's watching my babies.
Oh, that's your mother. Okay, all right. I know you graduated from Valley View.
I did.
But your mother, I know. And
she's a wonderful lady.
Yeah, and so she texted me and said, "Thank you for recognizing my daughter." And I said, "I am," thinking. But I didn't make the connection always. Because, where's your dad at?
My dad's right there.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, Mr. Smith. How you doing? Good. Nice to see you. I want to tell you that it takes a village to raise a child, and so in this commitment, we band together with your parent group, staff, and students to take ownership of the goals of your school community. And so an email, and I want to thank Dr. Verdi because he brought this to my attention, but this was from an email from a community member that said, "Today we went to the Black Bear Diner for lunch. There was commotion at one of the tables. It was a big family, and all of a sudden they all stood up and were crying, very emotional. And I got up to see if I could help it anyway, since a lot of the staff were there. Many people were on the phone calling 911. It was an infant. Someone said she was choking and she had stopped breathing. She was in the arms of the calmest lady that was palming her back. While all of us were crying, she was calmly helping her. After about 3 minutes, the infant began to breathe, as were most of us. I'm telling you, without this lady helping her, she certainly would have died. 1 minute she was sitting at the table next to them eating her lunch. The next minute she became our hero. Kudos to her. Blonde hair, red, I love this how she describes you. Blonde hair, red blouse, black pants. She even walked with the baby in her arms to meet the ambulance outside. Thank you to the staff that left their post to check if there was anything they could do, to the other diners, and especially to this lady that worked so calmly to bring this child back. The family was super grateful for her heroic measures. Thank you, friends and neighbors, for your time. And I believe you were with her, right? Y'all were having lunch together, and so you supported her when she was helping. So you can tell about it. Yeah.
Probably one of the scariest moments of my life, but sorry. Just really quick. They were Spanish speakers, so I heard the commotion. I heard the. Sorry.
It's okay.
Just I got up because I heard the commotion. We both actually took CPR class thanks to our district. We were certified or through.
Well, I just want to say that we're very honored to be here. I think speaking for both of us, we don't feel deserving of this recognition. I think that we have done what any person would have done in the same situation, but we are honored to be here. And I would like to note that we wouldn't have been able to do what we did in that situation without the district provided CPR and first aid training. So we would personally like to thank you, Dr. Ketsiora, and the board for providing that for your staff. We wouldn't have been able to perform in that situation without that. So thank you very much. I think the main highlight that we would like to make is on the status of the baby, because I think that's the most important part. So
I have been in communication with the family, and the baby's doing well. Hasn't had any more incidents. There is some underlying issues there, but they're taking care of it, and the baby has not had any issues. So that's the biggest blessing. And so thank you, board. Thank you, Dr. Katsura.
Well, I want you both to know that a lot of people get training and things. They don't often use it, and sometimes people sit there and they'll say, "Well, I don't know if I should do anything." So I think that you need to give yourself a lot more credit because, you know, the way you, from what I heard, I went to Black Bear Diner and I talked to people there. They said y'all were just angels, you know, that just, you know, came out of nowhere, they said.
I think the biggest blessing was that we took it together. We happened to be there together at the same time. It was just...
Yeah, it was a great support to have each other there.
Yeah, but also, you know, thank you for thanking the district, but we thank you as community members for, you know, responding and using what you know and using what you did to help and be such amazing employees, but amazing people. So thank you.
Thank you.
So on Saturday, June 30th in Washington, D.C., I don't know if all of you've heard about this, it was in the Moreno Valley newspaper. It was on the front page. We were very proud in our district. We've been working on this for 8 years, and now all 6 of our middle schools are what you call national schools to watch. It's a process where we look at developmental responsiveness, social equity, and academic excellence. And all of our middle schools have a rubric now to assess their continuous improvement that they didn't have previously. But it's quite amazing for a district to achieve this status. And so one of the things we were most proud of is that on this day in Washington, D.C., were some of you there that are out there? Who was there? Stand up, you know, stand up. Give them a hand, you know. Yeah. Because in Moreno Valley, we're one of 20 districts in the nation to achieve this status. That means that 2 or more of your middle schools have, you know, you have to have more than 2 middle schools in your district to get this. But we have 6, and so we're one of 20 in the nation and one of very few in California to achieve this status. And it's the commitment to ongoing and continuous improvement. And so I'm very proud of the middle schools for banding together, their teachers, and working to make this happen. So congratulations, everyone. And that's me. I don't know if you noticed at the bottom there. I'm dressed up as George Washington because I was in Washington. And I have this costume, Miss Boyne held, that people can wear if they need it for the first day of school because I bought it and kept it. But I was in a play there, and it was to celebrate our independence as middle schools from high school and elementary. And it was Mr. Holguin was there, and Miss Smith, and Mr. Johnson. And you saw this play, right? And you didn't realize what an actor I was, did you? They couldn't believe that in a short amount of time I memorized all these lines. I actually had teleprompters in front of me, but I just know how to make it look good, you know. So thank you all for being there, too. Now, the next thing that happened in Washington, D.C. was 3 of our students at Palm Middle School, and thank you, Mr. Payton, for being here tonight. What amazing young men these three young men are. Vince Mora, Vincent Ruiz, and Aiden Alvarez. There's actually 5 of them that were in this experiment. These 3 were there representing. But they didn't want to come tonight because their experiment does not actually, the mission's current launch date is July 21st. So they want to come back to the board meeting in August or September, I think. Is it September? Yeah, September. And they want to tell about what they did there. And I'm not doing it justice right now because there were 23 districts that were represented from throughout our nation, 23 at the Smithsonian National Science and History Museum there in Washington, D.C. And 3 of these young men were presenting their experiment from Palm Middle School. Isn't that something, y'all? Yeah. And that teacher, Gail DeCartonio, have you ever been in her classroom at Palm Middle School? She's a former research scientist. So she really motivates these young people to do these kinds of things. We had 3 last year, too. One of 23 districts in the country, and we had 3 last year, 4 kids, actually, from Valley View, and this year 3 from Palm. So we're very proud of them. Then we had the 4th of July Community Parade, and I want you to know we're very proud of what happens there and our students, and you're going to be recognized tonight. We want to thank all those students. I see you out there. I love y'all waving at me and stuff. You can wave at me. I see you. And how proud we are of your contribution to our community. But they were in the parade. But I also want to thank Mrs. Smith and Mr. Johnson and Mr. Holguin, who, were driven in the parade and rode around and passed out candy. Miss Boynhill, were you there with those kids, or who was there with them? Herdies from your office, yeah. So thank you for supporting them like that. But a very big day. It was a huge parade, and if you missed it, I'm really sorry. But I just think our community is amazing, and it's a great opportunity to see how wonderful it is on that day especially. Were any of you here at the parade? Nobody? There were so many people there. Okay, yeah. Wasn't it wonderful? Yeah, it was amazing. So just wonderful opportunity for us to connect and be a community. And then I want you to know that one of the things we do is Patty Rucker and Lynn Sheffield and Rafael Garcia, and they work in foster youth, with foster youth in our district. And we had a FAFSA challenge where we wanted foster youth to complete their FAFSA so that they could go to college and get the money they need. Sometimes that's difficult to do when you're trying to get so many different records together. But Moreno Valley earned 7 bikes through the FAFSA Challenge initiative by helping connect foster youth seniors in submitting their FAFSA application, and they gave recognition to the top 5 districts, and MVUSD was the second highest of any district doing that for foster youth. So I don't know if you know, but there's 23 districts in Riverside County. I mean, I'm competitive, so I know this, and there's 18 that have high schools in them, and so we were the second out of, isn't that good? Yeah. So do people reach out here and help? I mean, I'm proud of them. And that was a lot to do, and they're going to do better next year. Mr. Hassan, I know you're back there. And this isn't you. That's right. This is Canyon Springs. I'm sorry. Is Miss Kerr here tonight, or anybody from Canyon Springs High School? Well, some people went there before. But tonight we celebrate that we started an international baccalaureate program there. It's only been in existence about 3 years. Isn't that right, Ms. Maddox? And so this year, the first graduates of that program, and this was to stop students from leaving our district because students left and went to North High School in Riverside. We don't want students to leave. We have the programs here. And so the board was very instrumental in starting this program, the International Baccalaureate Program. But look at these students, have their performance. An IB Language and Literature, 100% passed. IB Spanish, 83% passed. IB History of the Americans, 53% passed. IB French, 100% passed. Melody Ortega received an IB diploma, and that's very hard to accomplish and achieve, but this is just getting started. So, I mean, as a community, we should be so proud of Mrs. Kerr and Christina Flores, who's the counselor and the IB coordinator, because this is huge what they accomplished there. So I know you want to give them a hand for that. Now, there's Mr. Hassan back there. He's the principal of Vista Heights Middle School. Anybody with you, Mr. Hassan, back there? Nobody came with you? Well, the board saw this. I think Marsha Locke and Mrs. Smith and Mr. Johnson and Mr. Holguin, didn't you all go out there to Vista Heights to see those kids being tutored? One of the things that we've done is we have an international baccalaureate program at, they're now a school, international baccalaureate school. They've achieved that status, and it's just amazing what's happened. But I just want you to know that we've really developed the potential for students to do even better when they get to high school, and it's unheard of sometimes for students to take AP classes in 8th grade. So at Vista Heights, they took AP Spanish, and then they took the AP Spanish exam. But one of the things Vista Heights did was they wrapped those kids so tight in support. I mean, they had tutoring sessions. Y'all saw this. Yep. But here's what happened because of it. Every student, 100% of them passed the AP Spanish exam at middle school. That's huge. Now, a few years ago, that didn't happen here. A few years ago, it didn't happen. But it's happening now. And I'm pleased to say that we're going to see more of this, right, Mr. Hassan? Yeah. And I'm going to go to another opportunity here. We received a grant last year for $700,000 for a student support and academic enrichment grant. This is from January through September of 2019, and it was all students in grades 1 through 3. And this is to expand art lessons and digital art and integrated instruction with art that didn't exist before in grades 1 through 3. And this grant provided that not only to them, not the 5 focus schools, Armada, Butterfield, Creekside, Edgemont, and Sunnymead, but in special education classes at those schools. And all students at Alessandro received this. And over 330 iPads were purchased that students get to use. So there's a lot of opportunities that students normally wouldn't get. And so in September, we're going to be evaluating this grant and applying for another one to expand this even more to provide additional opportunities for students, because we know that when students have art and music and drama and theater in school, that they do better. And isn't that right, Mr. Holguin? He's the president of, aren't you the president of Create California?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So he knows this firsthand, but aren't you proud of that? That happened here in this district? That's very good. And, you know, when I was interviewing Amir Awad, she said, does this district know how lucky they are to have all these supports? And sometimes we don't. We just think it happens. But this is really exceptional. We had a band camp, 4th annual elementary band camp. I wish more students had come. 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. We had 54 students that were provided instruction in rhythmic understanding, tone production, and note reading. And upon completion of the camp, all students received a T-shirt that says, "I'm part of the band." So what we're trying to do is increase student awareness of music and art and provide these special opportunities, and I hope there'll be twice as many kids next year. But 54 students did participate, and it was really, the students who went really enjoyed it. And then on Tuesday, July 9th, we were very proud to be part of many districts that were represented, but we were featured at the Redlands, University of Redlands Institute on Leadership for Equity and Social Justice. I was on a panel, and Maribel Maddox attended, as well as Mr. Johnson and Mr. Holguin. And then all of our student interns that work in the superintendent's office this summer were there. And we're very proud of the student participation and just the experience to have that kind of dialogue about equity and social justice. And I was on a panel, and Mr. Holguin and Mr. Johnson were there the entire day, as well as Mrs. Maddox and Miss Arcee. Miss Arcee's not here tonight, is she? Well, if you see her, tell her we were talking about her. And then I want you to know one of the things we did well this summer, and I really appreciate Nutrition Services, is the meals that we serve in the parks and in our district throughout the summer. So this is a short video on that experience and how much students and families really appreciated this service to our students.
So we're doing the summer program here at the parks. It's from ages 2 to 18, and we provide their main lunches, which is an entree, fruit, veggies. We provide them with chocolate, white milk. We also have water for them here. I think it's an awesome program because a lot of kids during the summer want to be outdoors and enjoy the parks. So this gives them a chance to enjoy the parks, the playground, the outdoors.
I'm very thankful. I'm grateful that they're allowing it. My kids love it. I have 3 and they're always excited to come. They see a lot of their friends from school, and it's just a nice opportunity to come out as a family, spend some quality time, but then they're here, they come here, they're a little hungry, they get to go play, and overall I'm just super thankful for it.
So a big thank you to Nutrition Services. Can we give them a round of applause? And I'd also like to thank the library media assistants. Some of them this summer, Esther Lane at Towngate, they went to the parks and read to children during this time. So they didn't all do it at all 23 elementary schools, but some of them were out there doing that, and I really appreciated that. And then this Saturday, you know, one of the things we're very proud of is our sports programs in our district. and am I going to say his name right? Is it Kenyon?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, Kenyon Barner, who went to school here, but he came back to his community, and so on Saturday, over 100 youth ages 5 through 18 participated. But we want to create deeper connections with our young students because we don't want them to leave when they get to high school and play other places. We want them to play here in Moreno Valley. So we provide camps, and this is one of them. Coach Bartledge and Valley View High School, but Mr. Johnson and Mr. Holguin were there. And thank you for attending. But to encourage families and our community to support our schools in our district, but this is just one way, and there's going to be more of these this summer. So we're very proud of those children and those families that came out.
Mm-hmm.
Am I giving it justice, y'all?
Yeah, just
'cause y'all are looking at me like I'm missing something.
There's just one other thing I want to make sure everybody knows. Kenyon was a running back, and you can see he's not that big, but when you close to him, you can see how stocky he is. But the good news is that he played with the Patriots just a short period of time last year, and he's got a ring, a Super Bowl ring, that is as big as your fist. When I say it's as big as your fist, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but believe me, his dad was wearing that ring. It was humongous. So if you ever want to know what a Super Bowl ring looks like, see if you can round him up and get him to show it to you. But he's so happy that they felt that he contributed so much to their team and their winning attitude that they presented him with a ring. And we are very thankful for him, too, for coming out here with all of the people that he had with him to help our kids to learn more about the game of football.
And to do it on our field.
On our field,
That's a big thing right there. You know, Claudia Hargy came from another district to work here, and she was sitting with me as we were putting this together. And she said, Dr. Kidziora, do people realize how wonderful this is, these fields and what's happening? I said, no, Claudia, they want more. I said, they come to me and say, what else you going to do? You know? So she was sitting there. She says, this is so cool. Look at these fields. Look at these tracks, you know. Have y'all seen Valley View's field out there? It's red. Have you seen that? Some of you are looking at me like you don't believe me. It's a red field. Look at it. Yeah. So we want kids to play on that. So,
Dr. Kissinger, can I just please say one other thing, too?
Well, you're going to.
Yeah, I'm going to say it anyway. Listen, I thought I would, build you up by telling you about the ring, but I could tell that you guys don't even know what a Super Bowl ring is. But here's what I would like to ask you to do. We love our students and our kids so much in this community. We have 4 brand new football fields. I think we do the kids an injustice, we meaning Moreno Valley City, when they have a home game on the field like they have and the bleachers like we have, and the folks in Moreno Valley do not show. I don't have any kids. I will not miss a game. Even if I wasn't on the board, I would still participate by going to watch our students play. So I'm asking, please, when football season comes around, stop by and watch your Moreno Valley kids play football on their brand new fields that you guys help us pay for. Thank you very much for that.
Well, since Mr. Johnson said something, let me say something else.
You're going to start something here. But
Remember,
go ahead.
well,
Because there's 5 of you, and they all want to.
No, but this is important because Mr. Johnson is saying when football starts. Let's not forget that we have many other sports. Yeah. We also have baseball and basketball and swimming and water polo and soccer and many others.
Tennis.
So tennis and on and on and on. So let's support our sports.
So we're going to move to the next slide, So I want to thank Human Resources and Dr. Verdi because this was the first time they've ever had a classified job fair, and they had an excellent turnout. They did it at Adult Education, which was a great idea, and over 450 people attended. Isn't that something? And, 336 applied prior to the job fair, and 316 applied at the job fair, and 207 pre-scheduled to test at the job fair, and 278 walk-ins tested from the job fair. And so this is an effort, Jolynn Neal. You were there back there, Jolynn. Are you with me? Are you okay? She was there, and weren't you proud that all this was being done to recruit highly qualified classified employees? Weren't you proud? You can't even say it. You're so proud. Okay. So this is so we can have all these people in place for when school starts: health clerks, gardeners, instructional assistants, campus security, clerk 1, 2, and 3s, and custodians. And they're going to hold 2 more this year, right, Dr. Verdi?
Yes.
Yeah. And they're going to do these because we want to get people employed, and we want to help our community, and we're going to do it at adult education because it's a great nexus for when parents are learning there and trying to get jobs. So we're very proud of that. Wonderful opportunity. Moving into another area is our expulsion data, and I really want to give a real big, a lot of the principals, they worry, about our expulsions, and the teachers worry, and the schools. But I want to say thank you to our community and to our schools for working on this. Look at 2014 and 15, 217 expulsions. Look at 2018 and 19, 48 total. Now, we would like to have, we want a 100% graduation rate. We want 0 expulsions, but we know that there are certain ed code violations, but we can work on that. And as a community, we support children and we support our families in making wise choices and working together. Right, Tamara Handysides? And as an assistant principal, you're going to do everything you can to keep children from being expelled, right? Yeah, I know. And Mr. Payton, you're doing a great job at Palm, and Lataria Carter back there from Badger Springs, you're doing a great job, aren't you? Yeah, keeping kids from getting expelled. So I know that you're proud of this, and you're working on this, and we just want to thank you because it's a lot of work. And then I want to tell you about we showed you a video about this, but the meals, it goes through August 2nd. And it's from 11 to 12:30, and so far there's been 26,178 meals served, and we're very proud of that we're serving this need in the community. Thank you, Nutrition Services, and all the other people that help make this happen. Our summer school graduation is going to be at LaToya Brown's school. She's hosting it. She has an air-conditioned gymnasium. She's proud of that, and we're proud of it too. And the air conditioning works really well in this room right now and other places. So we've had more students graduate in summer, but more students are graduating during the school year. So this year, it's down a little. There was like 150 before. Now it's going to be 104 students that are graduating. But we're proud of those students, and I hope you'll join us in that celebration at 9 o'clock on Thursday, July 25th, where we celebrate those students completing their graduation in summer school. And then on July 25th, we're also going to celebrate our Asterisk interns. These are students that are employed throughout our district and the community. These are paid internships. And I hope you'll join us at Bridges Learning Center from 11:30 to 1:30. And we're going to celebrate those students and also the people who employ the students, the people who've hired these students. And it's amazing what they learn over the summer. How many work in the superintendent's office? How many is it altogether? I thought it was like 10, but it's 7. And their energy is just amazing. Today, I was talking to them, and they just see things so much better than adults do sometimes. They're like, one of them said, "Do you want to get this done, Dr. Kedziora?" I thought, "Yes, I do." They go, "Well, I can help you get it done quicker." I thought, "Well, help me. Let's go." So one of the newer things that we did this year was the Superintendent Summer Arts Academy. There's 110 students that are going to this. Do you know about this, Stephanie? Are your kids in it? No, they're not. They should be. But the kids that are in it love it. It's at Vista Del Lago High School, and they're going to do The Lion King. And so they perform on Thursday, July 25th at 6 o'clock or Friday, July 26th at 7 o'clock. And so I hope you'll all come and see that. It's going to be quite something. And we haven't had this before. First summer we had it, and we're gonna hopefully do it every summer. And we use our Title IV funds for this, and it's to bring more arts to students. And you know, when you look at Redlands and those other communities around us, they sometimes have these things at the bowl, and these kids are in these performances. We're doing it now, so there's no reason to go anywhere else. Vivian Chang, you know, bring your family here and let them experience all this. You know. So another thing that we're really proud of is our Cyber Patriot program. And this program is getting bigger every year. In year 3, we hope to have 200 to 300 students. It's starting July 15th to the 19th and July 22nd through the 26th. That's for 7th through 12th graders. And then we also have one for beginning Camp Coding Olympics. And these classes are at Moreno Valley College. But I want to thank Donna Woods and Dr. Melody Gravine for this partnership, because it gives kids additional opportunities in the summer that they normally wouldn't have, and it's changing how students behave and how they learn. And I want to thank Sunnymead Middle School. Is anybody here from there? Oh, yeah, there you are, Marcia Bradley. You're the first middle school to have the Cyber Patriot program at your school, so we're very proud of that. First middle school in Riverside County. So thank you. Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah. So I just want you to know, Mr. Johnson, you kind of stole my thunder over there, but I was already working on this because, I know what the board wants, and they tell me all the time. So I'm trying to address each of their appetites up here, and I don't know if they're getting fed or not, but I'm trying. But look at this, y'all. On August 23rd, you can put these on your calendar. August 30th, look at these games they're playing. Canyon Springs is playing Ramona High School at home in that brand new stadium out there. Valley View High School on that red field, they're playing Temecula Valley. Vista del Lago is away at Tahquitz. And Moreno Valley High School is at home on August 30th. And so you have choices, and you could go to different games. You could go to part of one and then go to another one. And usually if you show up and you work here and you've got one of these badges on, they're going to let you in. You could just say, Mr. Johnson or Mr. Holguin or Daryl Peden said I could, or Marcia Locke or Susan Smith. But, you can work the gate. We'll be at one of them, so we'll help you out. Miss Brown will let you in over at Moreno Valley High School for sure. So then we want to congratulate Marcia Locke and Claudia Haragay. There's a Master's in Governance program which helps the California School Boards Association, helps us learn how to have better governance and work together. Now, you might say, like, they really get along up there. Is that really how they are? They really are like that. They like each other. So look at them. And a lot of that is because of what they learn and what they do. So congratulations to Marcia Locke and to Claudia Haragay. Would y'all give them a round of applause for doing that? Now, you're going to see this summer a lot of projects, and I'm not going to talk about every one of them. We passed a bond, and we thank the community. But you're going to continue to see at Moreno Valley High School buildings M&M, and this has come to a conclusion, hasn't it, LaToisha? LaToisha, hasn't it come to a conclusion? Yeah. So they're going to see that these improvements to classrooms, the counseling offices, aren't they all finished? Almost. Okay. They don't look like this anymore, though. These pictures were from the beginning. So they've got even more. There's different phases. You might say, why are there still portables at Moreno Valley High School? Well, they're doing different phases of construction, so they have to use the portables for people to move into when they are having the improvements done. And then this was through bond funding, but this is Moreno Valley High School, and we're going to have a ribbon cutting on September the 9th at 9 o'clock. Did you know that, Miss Brown? Okay, and that's good. And that's the new track and the new field there, and that was through bond funding, artificial track and turf. But we're very proud of that, aren't you, Miss Brown? And yeah, thank. And then Vista del Lago High School, we're going to do one there too. We haven't scheduled it yet. And then they got 2 of these on here for Vista del Lago. Is that? That's okay. But we're very excited. We just put 2 in there, yeah. And then district-wide solar, you're going to see more solar in the district. And there's construction started at Canyon Springs, March Mountain, Vista del Lago, Palm. Some of these are completed, but you're going to keep seeing that. And it's to save on utility cost so this room can be as cold as it is. And, so we have solar paying for it. And then the first day of school, y'all, is what day? August 14th. And so we want to welcome everyone to Moreno Valley Unified School District. We have a welcome and registration center that has extended summer registration hours from Monday, July 29th through Friday, August 16th. Extended from 8. They're usually open from 8 to 4. They'll be open from 8 to 6. They're looking at scheduling a Saturday registration, and you may call to schedule an appointment at 951-571-7690. And I want you to know, if you know any kindergarten students or transitional kindergarten students, we know that many kids have not registered. So we want to make sure they get registered. So if you know those kids in the community, bring them down there. Invite them to come with you, right, Mariella? I think you've got 90-something kids in kindergarten at your school, don't you? Didn't you just look at that? Yeah, so you're pretty good. But you usually have over 100, so there's a few more out there. So you might want to send out a parent dialer or put something out there, on the marquee, talk to them, yeah. Tonight, I want to recognize Chris Weddle. Where is he? Oh, there you are. And this is really sad because, it's like, it's great because you're coming, and I'm proud that you're here, but, we're losing someone that's moving to, where is that place? Austin, Texas. And, his wife got a job there, and he's got to go with her. And they also have a child together, so they've got to go. I was trying to get him to have some long-distance relationship, but it's just not going to work out. So I want you to know that through his work here, he's changed a lot of things. He's improved the district. His presence here has been, exceptional. Behind me is none of you noticed this is different. This wasn't always here. What was here is over there, and it's down. But this is new, and he did that and worked with maintenance and operations to get this up here. And that's one thing that he did. But he developed a new system for district departments to request design services, and sometimes they don't like it because they think, why do they got to go through Chris? But we want a brand in our district. We want things to look like people where they came from. Like when you go to UPS or Federal Express, you know it came from there. We want you to know it came from Moreno Valley. He implemented a school site master calendar system. He trained school site administrators and educators on the importance of branding and social media tools. He developed an editorial calendar and a strategic plan for sharing items with the community. He increased the followers of the district social media platforms by the thousands. I was hoping that these would get put in here. But Chris, what is it up to now? You can come to that microphone and share this. But talk about what you've done with social media. And Anaya, you take note of this because we want them to be better.
It's not just me. I do have two people
I know,
work
but
with,
take a
I
little
lead
credit.
them.
You're moving to Austin.
So when I started 2.5 years ago, I think our Facebook page had about 1,600 or 1,700 followers, and we just passed 5,000. So.
And then everyone looks forward every week to the weekly district newsletter, the end of the week news, and he made it more user friendly. And you can do it, Claudia. So he's gotten so many plaques, but this is what you get when you leave. It's because we don't want you to forget where you came from, and hang them in those offices. Where are you at in Austin? What's the name of that school district?
I will be at Del Valley Independent School District as the Director of Community Relations.
Well, we're proud of you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Holgan, I'm done.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Katsura. Thank you. Excellent report as always. And again, I always believe this is a great opportunity for the community to find out what is happening in the district. And this is always a partial list of the things that are being done. So, this is thanks to all the family members that work in all the different departments, all different sections. But these reports really provide a lot of information to the community. So thank you for doing that, Dr. Katsura. So we're going to move on to the next item on the agenda, and that is recognitions, communications, events. And I'm going to ask Ms. Maribel Maddox, would you please lead us in this item?
We're going down.
Good evening. It is my pleasure tonight to recognize our staff and students for board recognitions. I think you have some information, but we're formally going to recognize you tonight. So we're going to start with our middle schools. Like you heard our superintendent through the superintendent report, all of our 6 middle schools have been designated schools to watch, which is a great accomplishment. Because of that, they're going to actually help schools throughout the state, middle schools throughout the state and the nation, and actually help them on not only school improvement processes, but how to address the needs of all their students in different areas. So they will be having a lot of visitors, doing a lot of presentations at the state and national level. So we're very, very proud of them. So we would like to acknowledge them tonight. And of course, because of they're all schools to watch, then the district has been designated a district to watch, which once again, it's only 20 districts in the nation with this designation. So first of all, congratulations to all of you, including the parents. You're part of our district. So all of you, thank you so much for this. And congratulations to everyone here tonight. Congratulations. So when I call up the middle school, if the administrators here, just know that our principals were recognized, but I know that sometimes, you know, they might be out on vacation during this time of the year, but this is very important and we did not want to forget them. So I want to acknowledge all the administration that is here tonight from each of our middle schools. For Batcher Springs Middle School, the principal is Ruby Mexico, and representing Batcher Springs is the assistant principal, Miss Lataria Carter. From Landmark, I see Mr. Scott Walker, principal, and Mr. Pedro Gutierrez, assistant principal. Mountain View Middle School, Mr. John Black is the principal. We have tonight Dr. Patrice Harris. From Palm Middle School, Dr. Melanie Harris is the principal. Tonight we have the assistant principal, Mr. Jeff Payton. Sunnymead Middle, principal, Mr. Joseph Ochoa. We have Marsha Bradley. And Vista Heights, we have tonight the principal, Mr. Mark Hassan. These administrators represent all of our 6 middle schools in our district. They represent all of our middle schools that are schools to watch in the district. Congratulations to you, to your staffs, and to your parents for the hard work on this, getting this done. Thank you. Congratulations. For the district, because it is, you know, we kind of, you know, not joke a lot, but, you know, we're very proud. But this is huge to be out of the whole nation, at only 20 districts, and we're one. So I would like to call Mr. Olguin to accept the Moreno Valley Unified School District as a Schools to Watch district.
Well, again, this is the work of the entire teams at every one of the middle schools. And of course, with the leadership of the superintendent, Dr. Ketziora, and his entire team, and the board support, you know, things can be done when everybody works as a team. But the really hard work takes place at the middle school. So thank you so much for that. And this is for everyone at the middle schools level. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Is this work? I'm so excited to announce our art. I hear we have students that won an art contest. Is that true? Yeah, okay. So our district, along with the city, for July the 4th, they had an art contest. And we are going to acknowledge the winners of the art contest. And I understand you got to ride in the parade. Is that true? Yeah, how exciting. You got to ride in the parade. So I'm going to call your name, and then I'm going to call the principal to come on up. And then I'm going to ask Mrs. Carol Boynheld to assist us because we actually get to see our artwork tonight. So that's really exciting for us. There were 3 grade spans, and I think you'll see it on the screens for K-12, 3-5, and 6-8. So let's start with first place. We have Jasleen Estrada from Ridgecrest, 2nd grade. And we have their work that's been framed so they can show it. Then we have Matthew Lee from Cloverdale, 1st grade. Oh, look at that. That can hold it in the back. And then we have Israel Sanchez Northridge, 2nd grade. We now go through our 3rd through 5th graders. We have Eileen Sicarios Lopez, 1st place, Ridgecrest, 4th grade. We have Sarissa Ortiz Infante, Box Springs, 4th grade. And we have Kyra Acedo from Ramona, 4th grade. Now we go for our 6th through 8th graders. We have Chloe Tennis from Palm, 8th grade. So can we give a really big round to these art contest winners? Congratulations. And parents, you can please come on up, take pictures. Thank you. Okay, come this way, guys.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Just have them.
Just show it to us.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I love that.
Congratulations.
That one's a happy 4th of July.
Good job.
4th of July means spending time with my family. I like that. Is that like pink?
Very good.
Oh, okay. Very nice. So are you going to take art in high school? Continue art in high school, yeah.
Is that water? Does it have backwards? I'll send it in. That's water. Water? Water?
Might be in this telescope.
Oh, is Martin?
Water? Yeah, very good. Nice to meet you.
High school?
Thank you. Great job. I'm proud of you.
Great job. Congratulations.
Thank you for being here tonight. It means a lot for you to come up here and do great art there.
And parents, just so you know, we're taking the art back because they're going to also be acknowledged at a future city council meeting. So we'll give you those dates and then you can have the artwork. But we're just starting the acknowledgments. There's another ceremony for you. Congratulations and thank you everyone tonight.
Okay, we're going to take a 5-minute break. We'll come back at 8:35.
Yeah. Do you need help taking that upstairs, or?
No, it's so light. I'll take it.
I thought it was heavy.
All right, I got it.
item, and that is staff responses to public comments made at previous meetings. Dr. Katsura.
Mr. Holguin, there are no staff responses.
Thank you. Next item, public comments on agenda items. We have one speaker, and any person requesting to speak to any item on the agenda may do so at this time or when the item is addressed by the Board of Education. Individual speakers shall be allowed to speak for 3 minutes on any agenda item. The Board of Education shall limit the total time for public input on each agenda item to 21 minutes. Well, that's not the case tonight. So we have one slip only, and that is for Mike Araiza. Would you please come forward? You have 3 minutes, and the time will be shown on the screen. There, please. The time is on the screen.
Okay, I'm going to be short and quick, short and sweet. I'm here this evening representing my company, Nelson Paving and Grading, NPG Corporation. We are formally protesting a bid proposal that you are, I believe, getting ready to award for asphalt and concrete patching to JB Bostic and Company. We have protested it through the district on the grounds that the bid documents are questionable with regard to who is low bidder. So the district has responded and told us that the way the document is interpreted, if you interpret it to the left, then JB Bostic is low bidder. If you interpret it to the right, MPG is low bidder. While the district's position is that the bid documents are telling us this is the way it's going to be interpreted. Our position is, yes, the bid documents do say we are going to award based on this. However, it's our position, and it is shown in the bid documents, that in doing so, in awarding this way, the district is going to hold itself liable to paying a much higher price in certain situations than they should be. So we are asking that the district cancel this bid process, redo the documents to get rid of this loophole or this confusion, and then resubmit to contractors to rebid on the process. So basically the bid documents are set up to award based on unit pricing with a minimum charge amount. If you award on unit pricing, JB Bostic is low, NPG is second place. However, anytime there comes a situation where you fall under the minimum bid amount, NPG is low. So if you award to JB Bostic in one situation, you're going to pay more. If you award to MPG in the other situation, you're going to pay more. It's a catch-22 for the district. So we've been asking, and we are asking again, that the district pull this bid, rewrite the documents to get rid of this to where you're getting the best price in both situations, resubmit it for a rebid. So that's our position.
Thank you.
Good? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let me turn this off.
Okay. You want to comment on that? No. I'm asking you. Okay. So we're going to move on to the next item. Thank you again for coming this evening. Appreciate it. Appreciate your comments. Thank you. So next item is public comments on non-agenda items. We don't have any. Okay. Next item is public hearing. F1, public hearing. The Moreno Valley Unified School District's 2019-20 Bargaining Objectives Initial Proposal with the California School Employees Association and Moreno Valley Chapter 410. Dr. Verdi, can you talk about this, please?
At this time, we are asking the board to open up the public hearing and then to accept and also approve the bargaining objectives for the district with CSEA, and then CSEA will present theirs with the district.
Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion and a second to open the public hearing regarding the Miranda Valley Unified School District's 2019-20 bargaining objectives initial proposal with the California School Employees Association and Miranda Valley Chapter 410. Need a motion and a second, please.
I'd like to make a motion that we open the public hearing, please.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Peden?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Dr. Locke?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hoaging?
Aye, 5 ayes. So the public hearing is open.
Thank you, Mr. Holguin. As part of the public hearing, I will go ahead at this time and read into the record Moreno Valley Unified School District's 2019-2020 CSEA bargaining objectives. First, we have Article 31, paid leaves of absence. The district has an interest in clarifying time periods by which employees in the district may utilize specific leaves. Also, Article 32, for non-paid leaves of absence, the bargaining teams will review and update antiquated language for compliance with changes in the law. This list is not exhaustive, and both the district and CSEA reserve the right to make additional proposals as negotiations progress. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak on this item? I don't see anybody coming to the microphone, so I will entertain a motion in a second to close the public hearing.
I move that we close the public hearing.
Need a second, please?
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Mr. Peden?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Dr. Locke?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hoaging?
Aye, 5 ayes. The public hearing is closed. So now we'll move on to the next item, F2. Adopt the 2019-20 joint bargaining objectives initial proposal of the Moreno Valley Unified School District and the California School Employees Association in Moreno Valley Chapter 410. Dr. Verde, do you have any additional information?
Just as part of this process, Mr. Holguin, we're now asking the board to go ahead and please adopt the bargaining proposal that I just read into the record during the hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll entertain a motion in a second to adopt and accept the 2019-20 joint bargaining objectives as presented.
I make a motion to adopt and accept the 2019-2020 joint bargaining objectives of the Moreno Valley Unified School District with the California School Employees Association.
I second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Peden?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Dr. Locke?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hoaging?
Aye, 5 ayes. So that item is approved, adopted. Next item, F3, public hearing. The California School Employees Association's 2019-20 bargaining objectives initial proposal with the Moreno Valley Unified School District. Dr. Verdi, please.
This item, as well as the next one, Mr. Holguin, just like the ones completed for the district, the president of the chapter now has an opportunity during public hearing to present the bargaining unit's initial proposal to the board during the hearing, and then once the hearing is closed with the next item, the board has an opportunity then to accept the proposal as presented by the chapter president.
So we'll open the public hearing first, correct? Yes. So I'll entertain a motion in a second to open the public hearing regarding the California School Employee Association's 2019-20 bargaining objectives initial proposal.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Peden?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Dr. Locke?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hoaging?
Aye, 5 ayes. The public hearing is now open.
Good evening, Board and Cabinet. Tonight, the CSEA CSEA chapter acts as that in the initial bargaining proposal, Article 15, promotional, Section 3, CSEA proposes new language to modify the qualifications for requirements. Article 22, transfer, Section 2, proposed new language to modify qualifications for requirements. Article 24, evaluation procedure, CSEA proposes to address the new evaluation procedure and proposes changes to resolve current concerns. Article 27, salary. CSEA has an interest in negotiating a salary increase for all unit members. Article 27, salary. CSEA proposes new language for the implementation of a bilingual stipend. Article 27, salary, Section 9. Longevity, CSEA proposes to increase longevity pay to modify the payout amount. Article 28, Health and Welfare, CSEA proposes to increase the benefit cap. Article 30, CSEA proposes to add new language to enable bargaining unit members to cash out the vacation overage. Article 38, Professional Growth, CSEA proposes to modify the language to increase the lump sum of payout. Under these articles that we present to you tonight, some of them have been very long-standing, and we have very much concern because we brought these to you for the past 5 years. So we ask that you consider what we've proposed to you, and if needed, we could provide more information as to why these are long existing standing articles. But we hope to work through them and to hope to solve some of the problems that we're having that are affecting promotional and transfer language. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak on this item? Okay, well, I will entertain a motion in a second to close the public hearing.
I'd like to make a motion that we close the public hearing.
I second the motion.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Peeten?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Dr. Locke?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hogan?
Aye, 5 ayes. The public hearing is now closed. Next item, F4, adopt the California School Employee Association 2019-2020 bargaining objectives, initial proposal with the Moreno Valley Unified School District. Dr. Verdi?
With this action item, Mr. Holguin, the board is just asked to accept what Ms. Neal presented in terms of their bargaining proposal. It's just an acknowledgement of what she read into the record.
Yeah, correct. So I will entertain a motion in a second to adopt the California School Employees Association's 2019-2020 bargaining objectives initial proposal with the district as presented.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Peeten?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Dr. Locke?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hogan?
Aye, 5 ayes. So the item is adopted. Okay, next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. So for the consent agenda, I'd like to note we have already voted on a couple of items. Items G4A3, we already voted. 1 through 3. And, okay, that's already voted. And then I'd like to take a separate vote for item J4C6. G4C6, separate item, separate vote. And also under item G3B. G3B. Okay, G3B. What do I do with that? G3B, but we need to pull one item from that list. Let's see. Well, here it is. Item A17182549. That's a contract number, A17182549, for a separate vote. So, okay, so if you don't mind, board members, can we take a vote on item G4C6 at this time? Just by that one item.
Just that one, okay.
Just that one item, G4C6.
Can you give us a page number on that?
I don't see a 6.
69. Oh, I'm sorry, 60.
It starts at 66.
66, yes, 66. Yes, that's at 66.
That's where it starts.
Correct. Okay, so I will entertain a motion in a second for item G4C6.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we accept this item G4C6.
Need a second, please?
I'll second that.
I saw it, but
Roll
I
call,
didn't put it
please.
together.
Mr. Peeten?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Dr. Locke?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Holguin?
I'm abstaining in this item.
Thank you.
So you have 4 ayes and 1 abstention. Okay, so now on item G3B.
Is that B or D?
G3B as in boy.
B as in boy.
G3B.
Page 45.
Page 45. So, Mr. Peden?
I'll be recusing myself from this discussion.
Okay, on page 45, it's item G3B, and I'm looking at agreement number A17182549. I would entertain a motion and a second to approve that item as presented.
I move to approve item G3B.
And item A17182949, just that one line.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, there's a motion.
I second the motion.
There's a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Dr. Locke?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Holguin?
Aye. So you have 4 ayes and 1 absent.
1 abstain.
Abstain.
All right, tell him he can come back.
Okay, so now he can come back. Yep, that's fine. Okay, with that, we can now vote on the rest of the consent agenda. So I would entertain a motion in a second to approve the consent agenda with the exception of the items we have voted a few minutes ago.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the consent agenda that is remaining.
Okay,
I second the motion.
roll call, please.
Mr. Peden?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Dr. Locke?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Holguin?
Aye. 5 ayes. Rest of the consent agenda is approved. So next item, item H, action items. This is the student discipline cases. Ms. Maddox, do you have anything to add? The student discipline cases? Nope. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion in a second to approve actions on student disciplinary cases as presented.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Peden?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Dr. Locke?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Holguin?
Aye, 5 ayes. Next item, H1B, approved 2019-2020 California Interscholastic Federation representatives. Ms. Maddox, please.
This is designating our high school's principals as the CIF representatives for each of the high schools.
Okay, we need a motion and a second to approve the 2019-20 California Interscholastic Federation CIF representatives.
So moved.
Need a second?
I second the mo. I second the motion.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Peden?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Dr. Locke?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Holguin?
Aye, 5 ayes. Okay, next item, discussion action items. Business services, discussion action items, 45-day budget revision. Ms. Lopez, can you speak on this item, please?
Yes, thank you. Again, when we adopt the budget, which was adopted at the June 25th board meeting, you are adopting a budget based on the assumptions from the May revision that the governor will present, usually around the May 10th deadline. And so what will happen is the state budget is not formally approved until later in the month. And this year, the governor approved that budget on June 27th. And what this item will do, it will address any changes addressed of the items that changed from the May revision into the budget adoption. So what you see here are the three biggest changes, and honestly, this year they were not very significant, but I will go through them. So the first one was a change in the state teachers' retirement system rate. That rate increased from 16.7% to 17.1%, which is an increase of $718,000 to expenditures. Again, there was now a decrease to the PERS, which is the Public Employees Retirement System. That rate change was decreased from 20.73 to 19.7, which would generate savings of approximately $686,000 to the district. I want to talk a little bit about these items. What happened at the state level is the original May revision provided funding to the STRS only, and there was a lot of pressure to the governor to help with the classified. Most of the classified employees are on the PERS system. And so at the state level, there's really no change in regards to the monetary amounts allocated to them, but to individual districts, it would vary based on your certificated and classified salaries. There was a slight adjustment to the lottery funding, which you will see there, $6,600. And so overall, it's under $25,000 difference to the adopted budget. And so with this item, we are asking that the board approve the items for the 45-day budget revision as presented.
Are there any questions from members? Okay, so we'll entertain a motion in a second to approve the budget revisions as presented.
I make a motion to approve the 45-day budget revision as presented.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Peden?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Dr. Locke?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Holguin?
Aye, 5 ayes. So those revisions are approved. Next item, comments from board members and superintendent. Mr. Peden.
No comments at this time.
Ms. Smith?
Yes, I'd like to say a couple of things. Earlier, we talked about the great red field at Valley View. We emphasized that a lot. I'd like to say I've been out to Moreno Valley High School, and the field there looks terrific. It's a green, which is my preferred color for fields, and has a great Viking symbol. The blue and gold really shows up well against the green, and I just was very happy to be there and see that new field and see how happy the students and families and faculty are to have that new field at Moreno Valley High School and to support them. And I wanted to say something earlier when the men were talking about football, but I didn't have a chance because Miss Brown was still here then, and it would have been great to say something while she was here. But I'm sure she's still watching. I'm sure she watches till the end. So I think that Moreno Valley High School field is terrific. We voted on, I think, 24 student discipline cases tonight. You might think that's a large number. All of those students, none were being expelled. All of those students are returning from expulsion, coming back to our schools, and I am happy to welcome them back and wish them success, great graduation in a few years when they're seniors, and it's great to have them back in Moreno Valley. I went to Washington, D.C. For the schools to watch. It was great to see our schools honored. Actually, Maribel and I were sitting at a table for the awards dinner, and there were two people there at the table who were from a school district in Orange County, and they were the only two people from their school district. There was a principal and a teacher. That was all. They were representing and supporting their school, just the two of them. And we had so many people represented, and Dr. Kenzior is laughing, we had so many people representing Moreno Valley, and it was just a joyful occasion to see all of our principals there, to see the board members there supporting them, and it was a great celebration. It was an award well-deserved by our middle schools who have worked hard to earn this award, and I'm happy that they were acknowledged at that event. We also stayed on because it came right before the students that presented at the National Space Museum, and we were able to stay over an extra couple of days and see those students give their presentations at the National Air and Space facility in Washington. So it was great to see those students. It's great to see our students achieving and being successful in being recognized on a nationwide stage for the things that they're doing. So thank you to everyone who participated in those things.
I want to give, there's a lot of things to talk about, but I'm going to do the accolades to the district and school site staff for the extensive summer programs for the students. I think those are great. It's a nice variety of programs. And a sincere thank you to Chris Weddle for his contributions to Moreno Valley Unified School District. And the one thing to remember, Chris, you will be missed. And we have a replacement, big shoes to fill. I'm sure she'll do a great job. But the one thing is you have set the path, and what you have done will continue to live on, and we will build upon it. But you will be missed, and thank you.
Good. I will pick up, Chris, words cannot explain how we all feel about you. We know you can't turn around and change your mind because you do what the wife tell you to do, and I don't blame you. I really don't blame you. You see, the people that's laughing are the women because they know their man is the same way. Yes. But anyway, we love you to death, man. We wish you could stay here, but we know that's not the way things turned out. But you have done so much for this district. I mean, you have really got us on the map. I mean, we've done some good work here as well, but you made sure that the public knew of the work that we're doing here. And I like the way you spotlight each one of us. And I'm not talking about just the board. I'm talking about all of us, that's in the cabinet and so forth like that. And really appreciate that. I go to this donut shop in this little strip mall, and when I go in there, I buy one donut and get a paper. And every time I go, the same girl is there, and she said, "So what's in the paper today about your school district?" And that's because of the things that you've done for us. So thank you very much, man. The best wishes for you and your family. And remember us every now and then if you need, how much does a stamp cost? I don't know, 8 cents? 55 cents. Whatever a stamp costs, let me know. I'll send you the money. Send us some communication. Let us know how you and your family are doing. You know what? I'd rather laugh than be dropping some tears, and I saw what you were doing too. So, a lot of people don't know what we're doing. I also, I was thinking the other day about Moreno Valley Unified School District. When I first started, we had a recognition program, but it wasn't like what we have today. We've got so many great administrators, teachers, admin. I mean, the whole works. Everybody worked as a one team here. I don't like the New England Patriots, but right now they have more rings than anyone. And the reason I'm using them as an example is because this district, I mean, you see what it says here, excellent on purpose, shining brighter. I really hope everybody really understands what that means. The attitudes of the people that was here 20 years ago, they've changed. Those new people that are coming here, they're standing in line because they want to be here. And it's because of the great leadership that we know we have here, as well as our teachers and administrators and everybody in the entire district. So I'd like to take just another second just to say thank you all for the hard work, everybody who's done so much to educate our students as well as our adults and our families. We were talking about school to watch. 8, 9 years ago, we didn't have not one school with an award like that. I think the first 2 was probably Landmark and somebody else I can't remember. But today, all of our middle schools are now a school to watch. You have to really look at that and see and ask yourself, how did that occur? It started when Dr. White came over here and then Dr. Ketchiora, and I'm telling you, he's just like a Dallas Cowboy. but he's got rings where we don't have them. You're supposed to laugh at that. The point is, we have great leaders here, and they've done a great job for our students, our community, and all of our family members. And then I'm going to close with this quote because this is in the news today, so I want to make sure everybody, and if you don't understand what I'm talking about in this quote, see me and I'll tell you. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. And that was done by Martin Luther King. That's all I have.
Thank you, board members. And, I just have to add my comments about Chris Well and everything that you have done for us here in the district. You created I guess the image was already created, but you modified that image and made it very positive, very visible to the people here in the community, but also to people all over the state. I saw you attending meetings in San Bernardino. So obviously you were making friends over there, and I'm sure you were teaching them how to do things because many people need to learn from you how to do things. And I'm sure that where you're going to make a huge difference like you did here. And, that's going to be something that we'll never forget because of the position where you put the district thanks to your work. And it was such a pleasure working with you all the time because it was, the communication with you was very open, and we could joke a lot, we could play, we could work, and we could be serious, and it always was taken very professionally. So I appreciate your work, I appreciate your presence here, you and your family. We'll never forget you. He said you cannot change your mind. I think you can. You can always come back, and we'll find a place for you, I'm sure. But in any case, we wish you the best. I'm sure your wife has excelled in her profession, and we're very proud of her. We're very proud of what she has done and what she's aiming to do. And of course, you are with her, and that little boy is going to be your driving force all the time. So good luck to you. And here we are whenever you want to come back and visit, or we're going to be looking for that end of the week news from that district. So put our email addresses on your list already so we can see what's happening there too. So thank you. All the items that I had on my list have already been mentioned, the trips to Washington, D.C., the schools to watch. I have the schools to watch district certificate here, very proudly received on behalf of the Board of Education, but this is another example of the great things happening here in the district. So, to go to Washington, D.C. to receive this recognition, I think is something remarkable, that only 20 districts in the whole nation are at this level. So if the community doesn't understand that, I don't know what else needs to be done so that we can communicate that to the community, because this district is way up there in many different areas, and this is just one. The students that were there for the project, I was listening to them because they had to stand by the board and explain what they were doing, and some people came and asked them questions, and it was just amazing to listen to these middle school students explaining their project. I saw some university students asking them really difficult questions, and they were just like, easily answering those questions. It was amazing to see them performing there. It was great to have the presence at the 4th of July parade. Of course, it was a lot of fun, but it was good to see the band and the students, the arts contest. But the band is it's now a permanent piece of the parade, and people watch for the band, and they seem to be having a great time. So I want to say thank you to the Visual and Performing Arts Department, Mr. Solomon, for putting the band together, and also for putting the band camp this past week, and seeing all the students interested on participating. I think is great. The emphasis on the arts here in the district, I'm really thankful for what is happening, Dr. Katsura, so we need to continue supporting that too. And I want to say thank you to the business department, Ms. Lopez and your team now for attending the CASBO event this past Friday, representing the district very well there, and also for welcoming the entire eastern section to Edgemont Elementary School. I know several people from your department had something to do with that, so it was a good half-a-day event, but people enjoyed being at Edgemont Elementary School. They came from many districts in the Inland Empire, Orange County, Los Angeles, and they enjoyed being at Edgemont Elementary School. It's a great site for that. And they're really looking at next year, so we'll see. And this Saturday, seeing a lot of kids at the field with this was a professional football player. Mr. Johnson mentioned he used to be a running back.
Yeah.
But I think he still plays. He's still he's in the Falcons. Yes, so he's still there.
I knew that. I just didn't say everything about him.
Okay, well, that's why we say you're missing something, but now it's all done. So it was great to see, a professional that is connected with Moreno Valley and comes back and keeps back by assisting the children. So
Did he
it's a great
graduate from here?
No,
he didn't.
So I didn't bring that up.
He didn't. No. But that's okay. He's helping kids in Moreno Valley.
Calvary Christian School.
Oh, I knew that.
Yes. So anyway, those are great things that happen here in the district, and I'm sure that in the future we'll see more of that, because we talked to several people at that camp, and they were interested on continuing involving the children in the sports. So I also want to say welcome to our new chief business official. I thought you were going to say it first, but I'm going to say it first.
Well, I'm not first. I mean, you're first.
No, I thought you were going to say it earlier, but that's all right. That's okay. So welcome, and
I've been welcoming her all day.
well, you have, but I haven't. So welcome again. Thank you. So thank you for all your comments, and that's all we have. Dr. Katsura, do you have anything to say?
So, welcome, Susanna Lopez. I don't want you to think I wasn't going to welcome you. And Chris, I want you to know that this is like, when I was growing up, there were 3 channels on TV. And we couldn't watch TV unless we read a book. And my parents were really strict, and my mother still is. But they didn't like us watching TV, but they would let us if we read a book. And so we had to read the book, give a book report, and then watch the show if it was 30 minutes. So, I remember when I Love Lucy went off the air and it wasn't on anymore, and I thought to myself, what am I going to watch now, And that's the way I feel with you. I'm like, what are we going to do? But, I know that's not realistic to think that, what am I going to do? But what are we going to do? People always walk around all day long and say, Dr. Kitzer, what are you going to do? Chris is leaving. I thought, well, y'all, I'm going to keep working here. But we are going to miss you, and you have made an indelible impression on this district, and you will wherever you go, So thank you for that. And I could say more, but, I'm not going to, because I'm going to start crying again, And I think the board, you feel this, and you're going to be missed. And I think that's a good thing. If you take anything away from this, there's some people we don't say bye to. But, you should feel really good, So I do want you to know, one of the things that superintendent's learning objective is to get kids to read more. So in the summer we send home book bags with them for them to read. And Mrs. Humphrey's class wrote me this letter. She's a first grade teacher at Ridgecrest, and I've been to her class a lot. Love the class, love the kids, love the teacher. But one of the students is my neighbor, and so he gave this to me. Because Ms. Humphreys couldn't get a hold of me, but it says, Dear Dr. Kidzora, thank you so much for our book bags and new reading books. What an awesome gift. We plan to enjoy reading them all summer long. Our class has read books all year. We take a new book home every evening. Our teacher read more than 250 books aloud to us this year. We have really enjoyed listening to them. Thank you very much for thinking of us. And each of them wrote these just darling letters to me, you know, in here. This is from Dean, who's my neighbor, and he said, "Dear Dr. Kidzora, thank you for the books. I read 55 quizzes. I am almost in second grade, almost." And it says, "Love, Dean." And I just want to thank Dean for his family delivering this to me and for thanking me for those books. But I hope everybody reads more this summer, because one of the things my parents did was made us read. And so sometimes people say, "Did you read that? Did you look at that?" Well, because I've been reading my whole life, it doesn't take me long to look at it. And that's what you get when you read like that. I loved it when the custodians and the maintenance and operations people were putting back my office, because they just did some Tanisha Grantham, thank you for the wonderful, you know, redesign up there. And one of them said to me, "I heard you know where every book is on every shelf." I said, "I do. I heard that when a person has an issue, that you hand them a book to read and you say, 'Read this book.'" I said, "I do." He said, "How do you know all these books are in here?" I said, "Because I read them, you know, and I know where they are." But I've always, you know, like, kind of taken that for granted, but I just want you to know what a gift it is to be able to read, and what a gift it is to get to be able to read, but a gift to have books, and that's why I give them to kids, because, you know, I want them to know that, you know, a library is an important piece of your life. So, you know, thank you for students recognizing that. And then I also wanted to say that I'm really proud of our district. You know, we're going to go to Orlando tomorrow, and I don't know if everybody knows this. We've said it before, but we're one of 3 districts in the nation to be recognized. In the nation. Isn't that right, Chris? Am I lying? Okay. Because he wrote the press release. But, you know, we're the medium-sized district of the year for advanced placement, and that was a long time coming, working on providing equity in advanced placement, making sure that all students were represented, not just, you know, one group of students, visiting classrooms, making sure that every child saw that as an opportunity. And to be recognized at a national level is quite significant for the contribution and what students have done. Students text me. I had a student the other day that passed all of their AP exams, because, you know, we get to know the kids and we say what, you know, like when I took the AP exams when I was in high school, I didn't know that you know, I hate to admit this, but I didn't know you had to make a certain score. I thought you just took it, you passed. And so when I got my score, in which I didn't pass, I said, "Well, I took the test." And the teacher said, "Well, it doesn't matter how many you take or that you took them, you have to pass them." So learning that, and I think that's something that we don't often realize, that people don't know, because I was, you know, just a naive 12th grader or 11th grader when I did it. But I went and talked to kids at like Valley View and Vista Del Lago and Moreno Valley High School in their AP classes, and told them, you know, about doing the, you know, like applying themselves and, you know, getting tutoring, like what happened at Vista Heights. Well, I want you to know that Philip Peoples looked at his AP test scores at Moreno Valley High School. Did you know this, Maribel? They rose 8% this year. They're higher than they were last year. That's almost 10% higher, the pass rate. And because when you set this foundation of excellence on purpose and you shine brighter, look what happens. You know, and they weren't doing that before, but why are they doing it now? Well, it's because, you know, look at these 11 students at Vista Heights. Jennifer Miller, your kids go there, right? Aren't you proud of that? Yeah, and what a tribute to that school that, you know, those 8th graders took that test. That they first of all, just taking it, but then passing it, you know, making a 3, 4, or 5 on it. It's huge. So we'll be recognized this week in Orlando. Mr. Holguin is going, Mr. Johnson's going, Marsha Locke's going. And, you know, we're very proud to be there, because it's part of, you know, knowing, but it's also part of that. You know, you're part of something that people don't often realize. And if you're not there, then people say, well, because some people say, wasn't it a big deal to them, you know? Didn't it matter? But it does matter. And we're there to represent the students here who have done great things, and the teachers, like Mrs. Manley at Vista Del Lago High School. I don't know if everybody knows this, but 60% of her kids passed the AP Calculus exam this year. And that's huge. I don't know if you know about AP passing rates, but 60% is big. You ought to all go over there and visit her classroom. And then I just want to say that if you haven't registered for school, I hope you register really soon, because we need some more TK children, transitional kindergarten. We have spaces. We have spaces in kindergarten. We want all of you children to go to school here. And if you have a problem with where you're going to school, or you don't like where you're going to school, I'd like to talk to you. I read every transfer myself. I sit down with Dr. Sheffield, and I look through each of them, because we want every child to have what they need. And so the registration center has extended hours starting July 29th. And I hope if you know someone that's not registered or they're new to the community, you'll help them get registered. Because we want every child to start school August 14th, ready to go, right, Maribel Escobar? We want them all there, right? Yeah. So when you're out there in the community, talk to people, tell them. Because sometimes people don't know. They don't know that you have to go and you have to do this process and register your kids. And sometimes they wait, and there can be long lines there. And right now there aren't lines. So I just want to encourage everyone to continue reading this summer and make sure you register for school and that you get registered and you get schedules, because that's really important. And, you know, our next board meeting is like August the 6th. So school starts August the 14th. So I want to start this now, you know, getting people out there. And I know you're going to help too in your communities and stuff and talk to people. And I know I went a little long, but I apologize. I just had to say these things. And I just want you to know too how proud I am of our district, how proud I am of these children that go to school here. Amazing individuals, you know. Look at what they do. Every time I turn around, they're surprising me. And they're saying to me, can you believe I did this? I think about Tony Saldana's daughter that was here tonight. She went to Honey Hollow Elementary School, and now she's at Harvard. You know, and sometimes you don't end here. You may not have been all the way through here, but you started here. And you know, a lot of us, you know, weren't people that are doing the things we're doing until we came here, myself included. I've worked other places. So we are inspired by the children that go to school here and what they do. So thank you. Congratulations to everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Katsura. And with that, the meeting is adjourned at 9:22. Ms. Smith, 9:22.
Thank you so much. I'm keeping track.